Each of them. Every hero of the faith in Scripture had a test of faith and obedience before the next level of testing came. And it's like a stair step. Life is not really a solid walk that you walk and every level is the same. It's not. It's more like stairs. And you can't skip steps. You know, yesterday we went to Quamanon Falls, and my husband decides he's going to test his legs since he was healed last year. I'm going to try this. And, you know, and we know that there's still some limitations and some things that are still healing. And he has to be careful because of the thing in his back and everything. So, and I'm like, my knee ain't doing it, so I'm just not going to do it. He goes down the stairs. When he comes back up, he's taking 2 steps. And he's skipping steps, you know. But he had to keep his momentum. See, life isn't like that, though. You can't skip steps because you'll miss the lesson you were supposed to learn on that step.
Ooh, that's good.
And if you miss that lesson, the next storm you go through, you needed that lesson.
Yes.
And then you won't have it. And that's why it's important to, I know we don't like that because we just want to skip it all and just get over through it. I remember struggling 10 years ago, just wanting God to heal my heart and deal with all the wounds that were in me, and He was. But I wanted to get healed now. And He kept taking me through the process of things, layer by layer, and I was like, God, why don't you just... And it wasn't that He didn't grace me. I mentioned this Wednesday night. There was a time He took the pain right out of me.
Yes.
But He didn't do that with everything. There were some things He really made me walk through. He made me really listen to Him. He made me really work the obedience out. And I kept getting mad at Him. I was like, why? I know you could do this instantly. Why don't you? Because I'm trying to show you something. I'm trying to walk you through it. And I'm like, oh, I was so impatient. Very, very impatient. And yet, had I not learned those lessons, now I look back and I think, oh God, thank you. Thank you. Because He taught me things I just could not have learned any other way. I couldn't have. And it wasn't because I was hard-headed. It's because those lessons are priceless and you don't learn them skipping steps. There was lessons that Daniel, Shadrach, and Meshach, and Abednego learned in these moments that gave them fuel for the next time. You can't skip steps in those learning processes. You got to keep moving forward. You have a choice here, because here's your proof of level. I remember God getting hold of me and He said, if I'm going to take you where I want to take you, this has to change. Because I can't have you doing that in the next level. It will destroy. God can't have you destroying the house. You know, when you have a little house and you're a person who destroys it, God's not going to give you something bigger when you can't even keep what you have.
That's right.
That's not just in the physical. That's in the spiritual.
That's good.
If we destroy everything because we just flip out our words,
Right.
if I want more, then this has to get under control. My tongue has to come and get, James calls it a bridle. Put a bridle on your tongue. Get control of it before the next level. Because in the next level, you will destroy yourself and everybody else. So every level requires more, but every level also there's more involved. So it's really important to not skip steps and get all of that in place. Every little obedience is a big thing for the next one. There's times I look back and I think, God, thank you so much for teaching me that lesson. Because here I am 5 years later, and had I not known that, we said that just recently even. Had I not gone through what we went through 5 years ago, what I went through a few months ago, I would have reacted completely different. And it would have been bad. Like it would have been worse. The consequence of it would have been really bad. And now I look and I think, oh, thank God. And it was such a hard thing to go through 5 years ago, but now the lesson is very, very learned and very ingrained in me. So now it was like, it was easy to obey. That wasn't the hard part. The hard part was to see how bad it would have gotten had I not obeyed and gone through it before. And I think, oh Lord. But see, that's the way David was. These are the levels that he went through. Had he not gone through these levels, they taught him for the next one. They taught him. And I was looking at all these different people in the Old Testament, and I was studying it out. And I got to Solomon. And he was my problem. I got to Solomon and I said, Lord, but why not Solomon? Solomon didn't stick out in the middle of all this to me. And I said, why not? And this is what the Lord told me. He said, because Solomon was given everything. He never had to earn it. It was never proven for him. He never had to fight for it. It was handed to him. And actually, Solomon explains this in Ecclesiastes. He used it for vanity. You will take care of what you have to earn and work for a whole lot better than you will if it's just given to you on a silver platter. God ain't going to just give you victory, you guys, because he knows you'll just spoil it if you do. He learned from Solomon. There is a process. And listen, don't get mad at God for the process. It's building character in you, and it's a good thing. It's a good thing. God has a process for a reason. Solomon had a problem with his character because Solomon didn't have as much required of him. David had character flaws, but Solomon had character flaws that were huge. Okay?